Okay, we are going to settle in here. See all of you online are getting comfy and cozy. And hopefully you can hear me okay. Is the microphone a little bit better? Head nods, thumbs up. Okay, got a thumbs, got lots of thumbs up. Man, I'm rolling. Okay. And this microphone will stay. It's not as, not as good a camera, but so. All right, let's go ahead and get comfy. We are going to, like I said, start with ourselves, really get ourselves in a state of loving kindness, a state of being, and then we'll bring that to some others. Just set that up a bit. Okay. And let the bell always be an invitation. Always an invitation. We get a choice about how we live our lives. So let it be an invitation, an opportunity to let go of the busyness of the mind, to let go of any worries or concerns, to give yourself permission to make some time for yourself. Nowhere to go, nowhere to be. And let us begin just taking a few moments to once again ground. Aware of the contact with the floor, chair, cushion. Just settling there for a few moments. And then a few moments on the breath. Just becoming aware of the breath that gives us life. And now let us cultivate the thought. May I be filled with loving kindness. First we cultivate the thought, then we cultivate the experience. May I be filled with loving kindness. I invite you to become aware of a radiant warmth of loving kindness emanating from your heart, filling the entirety of your body, right out to the edges. This experience of loving kindness contains the feeling that you are loved, you are cared for, you are accepted, and that you are lovable. Allow yourself to feel loved, cared for, accepted. and lovable. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be free of mental and emotional stresses, worries, and fears. May I know some peace and ease, some serenity. From here, I enjoy focusing on the exhale for a little bit, letting my exhale be a release, a letting go of any tension, any worries, any concerns. And with each exhale, I notice my body relaxing a bit, my mind relaxing a bit, and able to just rest in peace and ease. Nothing to worry about. May I be healthy. May I be well. May my immune system be vibrant and strong, capable to fight off any illness that comes my way. I invite you to bring your awareness to the breath that gives you life, being aware how it nourishes your body, revitalizes your immune system. Let that breath be like a light of energy, vibrancy coming into your body, tending to any issues you might have. And becoming aware of the exhale, letting go of any illness or injury, any ailment. Seeing if you can let go of it, seeing it leave your body, the exhale. Let's put the two together. Becoming aware of the breath that gives you life, that nourishes you, heals you. The inhale. And the exhale that releases and lets go. Now let us cultivate the thought and the experience. May I be happy. May I be genuinely happy. May I know the deep sense of well-being that arises from knowing that I am worthy. I'm valuable. I'm capable. My life is meaningful. And I have much to offer this world. Really allow yourself to know this about yourself. Your life is meaningful and you are capable. Now let's extend this to some people that we know, that we care for. Taking a little time to bring to mind some people we know that are struggling in some way that can use some loving kindness, some help, some support. Take a few moments to bring to mind some people you know that you care for, could use some help. And let us extend to them our loving kindness. Let us cultivate the aspiration, the wish, and offer our loving kindness to them. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they know and experience they are loved, that they are cared for, they are accepted, and they are lovable. Moment to see them experience this. Now let us cultivate the aspiration for them that they be peaceful and at ease. They get a respite from their stress, worries, or fears. They get a break from it all. They have some peace and ease, some serenity. And if you can see them at peace and ease, just comfortable, just okay. And let us cultivate the aspiration, wish for them. May they be healthy, may they be well. May their immune system strengthen. May any disease or struggle they are having currently dissipate. Let us take a moment to cultivate this aspiration for them. Let us now cultivate the aspiration for them, a wish. May they be happy. May they be genuinely happy. May they experience the well-being, the depth of well-being that arises from knowing they are worthy, they are valuable, they're capable, their lives are meaningful. They have much to offer this world. Now let us bring to mind some people we don't normally think about. Some people that we may see from time to time. Often people think of clerks at the store, or maybe if you traveled recently, people you've seen in your travels, people you might know as neighbors but don't really know. Take a moment to just bring a few of them to mind. Be curious about what their life's like. Everyone has this life that we're unaware of. And let us cultivate the aspiration for them, the wish. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they know and experience that they are loved, they are cared for, they are accepted, and that they're lovable. So you can just bring them to mind, knowing they are loved, cared for, lovable. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be free from stress, worries, and fears for even just a moment, some peace and ease in their life, a respite from the worries and struggles of the day, a little time of serenity. May they be healthy. May they be well. May their immune systems be strong, vibrant, capable of warding off disease. May they heal from injury. May they be healthy. May they be well. May they be happy. May they be genuinely happy. May they experience the depth of well-being arising from knowing that they are worthy, valuable, capable. Their lives are meaningful. They have much to offer the world. And let us bring to mind just a couple of people that we're struggling with, some people that we have a few challenges with, maybe some people we'd like to heal a relationship with or have a better one. And let us cultivate this aspiration, this wish for them. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they know and experience that they are loved, they are cared for, they're accepted, and that they are lovable. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be may they be free of stress, frustration, and anger. May they have a respite from their worries and fears. May they have some serenity, some experience that they are okay. May they be healthy. May they be well. May their immune systems be strong and vibrant. May they heal from any injury or illness. And may they be happy. May they be genuinely happy. May they engage in life in ways that are meaningful, so they can recognize their worthiness, their value. May their lives be meaningful. May they know they have much to offer this world. Now just taking a moment to bring to mind all others. It can be a daunting task. But I'd like to just bring to mind as many types of others as I can think of. Brought up earlier, flight attendants, people traveling, people in hospitals, people working in hospitals, newborns, new moms, new dads, people are homeless, people who have big homes, people in different countries, people struggling with some disability, animals. Just take a moment to bring to mind as many types of others as you can. Just letting them touch your consciousness so they can be a part of our aspiration here. And let's wish them loving kindness. Let's extend to them our loving kindness. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be healthy. May they be well. And may they be happy. May they be genuinely happy. Let's do our best to extend this out to the world. And let's now extend it to each other. Just taking a moment for all of us who've gathered today to extend to each other this wish. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you know that you are loved, you are cared for, that you are accepted, and you are lovable. And I invite you now to receive the love being offered to you by us. Let go of any little barriers that might pop up and to just receive our love as freely as you can. Know that you are loved, that you are cared for, that you're accepted, and that you are lovable. And when you're ready, bring your awareness forward. Always no problem maintaining that state of being. Yeah, why don't we do that more often? Seems like such a luxury, doesn't it, to some extent? Yeah, Pema Chodron has a quote, I don't know, I'll get it right. But she talks about the real act of loving kindness for yourself isn't just wishing yourself to be, filled with love and kindness, but rather it means taking the time to put yourself in good situations, making time to meditate, making time to create space for the thoughts you want to engage in your life. That it's that self-care. I think that's really important. We get so caught up in our days, so much to do. And sometimes people tell me, I don't have time for this. Way too busy creating stress, worry, and fear in my life to make time to eliminate it. But it feels like that, doesn't it? Wow, I've got all this to do. And so one of the things that I kind of related to is, if I got a diagnosis, let's say with cancer, and I was told, yeah, you got so much to live, but if you do this treatment, for 20 minutes a day, pretty soon I'd find 20 minutes a day, okay, I got that. And the idea that she's sharing is that, it's our priorities. And if we can start our day off with a grounding in some reality, we're in an interdependent world. This day comes but once, it's never coming again. I don't know how many I have. Do I want to be angry, frustrated, resentful, have a bunch of ill will, frustrated, and try to control everybody? No, that's really not how I want to spend my day. I'd much rather spend my day living in reality, having a state of being that is more accurate, understanding of this complex thing we call life, and knowing that I can cultivate understanding, compassion, loving kindness, and it's going to make the quality of my health and wellness better, and my interactions with others better. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. So it's really taking some time to remind ourselves about some simple truths. And it's so easy to get caught up in the things we have to do. And we have so much habit, so much power around an untrained mind, right? The untrained mind. It's, you get up, well, you have stuff to do. There's chores, there's lists. And then, the fascinating thing I think in life, which I'll catch myself doing from time to time, is I'm doing things to get them done. That's a weird way to live. I'm doing these things to get them done, get them out of the way. I'm not doing them to do them. I'm not doing them because they have meaning or purpose. Whether it's folding the clothes, doing the dishes. You know, I have dishes. I've got water. I like clean dishes. Right? Pretty cool. I kind of like the blue ones. And where's my life if I'm doing things to get them done? My life's on hold for all the things I'm doing all day because I'm not there actively participating in what I'm doing. I'm just checking off a list. And then at some theoretical point, all that'll be done. And at some point, what? Will I be happy? Yeah, good luck. You know, the actual, again, research on mindfulness and mindlessness is if you're just aware of what you're doing is the most determinant factor on your happiness and well-being. It doesn't even matter what you're doing. Just the fact that you know you're doing it is the single most determinant factor on your well-being. It could be mowing the yard, it could be raking leaves, doesn't matter. And that sounds kind of a little bit antithetical, but if you take a moment and realize when you're just focused on raking the leaves, you know what you're not doing? Planning, stressing, worrying, ruminating. You're just raking leaves. So if you know what you're doing, your mind's not caught up in a bunch of that other stuff. And so just being present with what you're doing. Now, if you can bring some motivation to it, like, you know, how this is helpful, how it's beneficial, you know, if I'm folding the clothes on the bed, you know, just thinking how helpful I'm being, maybe with my wife or doing the dishes, or, you know, then that's kind of a nice perk, but just knowing what you're doing. But if you can bring then a motivation like, and noticing like presence, as Keith talked about, with the qualities of the people we're coming in contact with, whether good qualities. If I can be aware of that, you know, then my life's very different. But the habit is, you know, our mind gets busy and then it gets compulsively drawing me around. And so regular meditation practice, and that's where if you read the text on loving kindness, you know, it starts with having some bhavana, so bhavana meditation, one of the Pali Canon stuff, of cultivation. So cultivating some presence of mind. So, you know, the meditation like shamatha, where you're able to have a regular meditation where you're just focused on the breath, nothing else, or some other object, and you develop the ability to be present. And then you can use that in your other meditation. So it's really important to each day have a little practice that's just that, you know, for a period of time. And then we can do a practice like this. And a practice like this, we did it very formally. But what if you just played that in the car? What are you putting in your mind? I know Raymond's driving across from Texas up to Denver. I think he's listening online. And hopefully you weren't meditating and driving, that would be awkward. But you can listen, right? And what we put in our mind leaves an imprint. And that's so important to remember. When I am complaining, when I am whatever, what am I putting in my mind? And so something like this is nourishment in a healthy, meaningful way that we can play in the background. It doesn't have to be a formal meditation. It could be walking around, seeing the, you know, the value in others, having the thought, may you be healthy, it may be well. We have a practice that just says, see everyone as an old dear friend. That's one the Dalai Lama has brought up. I like that one. Yeah. I'm trying to resist saying something. Apparently, I'm not going to do that. I get a lot of free coffee, but seeing the good qualities in it. It's the weirdest thing. When I travel, you know, it's like truck stops and things. Just, you know, it's late night. And just, hey, how you doing? And just that. You know, I get my little coffee and they go, you know, keep it. I mean, I don't do it for free coffee. It's just a perk. We're in New York and we got like free donuts and stuff too. I was walking around with a friend of mine, a New Yorker, you know, hard, tough New Yorker guy. And, you know, he showed me downtown and he's like, you know, John, you can't be like acting. I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What's that? He's like, you know, we're in New York and, man, I got free donuts. We got some coffee. So he shares with me. He's like, I've never done that with somebody. Like, you know, like, and you don't always, by the way, and sometimes people are so mean, but it is a palpable difference in how you interact with others. And sometimes you get free donuts. So the opportunity, though, then is that I get to water, nurture, and grow certain qualities and attributes in my mind. And if we think of a garden, you're going to grow the seeds you plant. And if I want an orange tree and I'm planting apple seeds, I'm not going to get an orange tree. Right? I want loving kindness, and I'm cultivating anger, resentment, and indifference. Not going to get it just doesn't work that way. And so like this, we get to bring to mind, water, nurture these, have it in the background, have a simple practice, maybe well, maybe happy. And having that open-heartedness towards people. And then there's much more opportunity for it to be kind of a habit and a way of being with people. And as I mentioned before, this does not mean that everybody's great. Okay, there's mean, vicious people doing vicious, mean things. That's the accurate way of putting it. And it doesn't mean you don't hold them accountable or that we don't need prisons or things like that. It means that we are more skillful in putting up the boundaries, more skillful in holding people accountable, knowing that underneath their struggle is a valuable human being. But right now they're acting in a really unsafe way for us and others. And so we need to step in. And that's a different place. Back again with school teaching, with my kids, and I taught like North Long Beach, Compton, kind of a rough area, and just I can step outside with them and just what's going on. And they're waiting for me to lecture them, like you're normally like this and that, what's going on? And then you find out, wow, they didn't eat last night, their mom's in the hospital, you just find out all the stuff that's going on. And you're like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. And then they're, I'm sorry, Mr. Bruna, I didn't mean. That's right, take a minute when you're ready, come on in, we'll restart. And but then you can deal with the behavior and not discount the human being. And sometimes it's brutal behavior, so you can't get that nice about it. But if it's coming from a place of compassion and understanding, we have much more ability to deal with them skillfully and offer a little bit of room instead of like an argument or a trigger. And that's what I was watching these two guys argue there at Walmart in like an auto shop. I didn't know Walmart's had auto repair kind of places. It looked like it was an auto repair desk or there were batteries. But this one guy sitting there, this one guy, and they're big and they're just calling each other names and I kick your, and this and that, and they're just going at it. And it's like, and it was just nothing but bravado. Like nobody's throwing a punch, and they're both big. And I've done this in my prison time, and I didn't. And you're just going like, wow. It just got to a point where you could tell neither of them really wanted to be doing it, but they couldn't stop, like nobody threw a punch. And but we get triggered, we get angry, and then it's them against us. And therein lies the struggle instead of me and ours, that we're all trying to find our way. And what a man just said, I've had people yell at me in that kind of rage, and and I've actually just said, hey, I'm really sorry. And it's just very disarming, like I'm not going to argue, I'm really sorry. I can see you're upset, what can I do? You just asked over here, how can I be helpful? Or was that you? One of you. You offered him the help, right? That's awesome.
I volunteered.
Skill. Hey, what can I do to help you? Matt's good at that. But it's very disarming to people who are all worked up. You just say, I'm sorry, and it's like, whoa, and because I'm sorry, I don't want them to be upset. And let's talk about what's going on. So we can de-escalate situations like that. We might still be in a dangerous place. We need to guard, and you still have to do that. So loving kindness is not enabling behavior. It does not, there's nothing loving and kind about allowing people to do harm, right? That's the opposite. So loving kindness is, and I think that if we get it this way, I think this is the best way I can explain it, is when I know I'm acting out of loving kindness, my aspiration is that we're doing the healthiest possible thing here for us. The healthiest, right? And the healthiest is not always the pleasant, but I'm coming from a place where I'm trying to be as healthy as possible in interacting with you. And I think if people do healthy things, they feel better about who they are. And so the situation might be having a really, tough boundary, tell someone some stuff they don't want to hear. I've recently had to do that in a pretty, difficult way. But coming from a place of, because this is what we need to talk about and hold you accountable. And, because it's not always easy to do that, right? We avoid some conversations when in fact it could be the healthy thing to do. So we don't stay in unhealthy situations. It's not loving and kind. Some people take the idea that, well, if I'm loving and kind, I can heal any relationship. No, if you're loving and kind, you can put yourself in living in a healthy way, and maybe they can meet you there, and maybe not, but we don't change how we live. And so it's this real dedication to being healthy, mentally and emotionally, having good boundaries, knowing you're worthy and valuable, and allowing other people to rise to that place in our lives by treating them with value, which also means accountability as well. So a lot of times we'll do a 4 immeasurables retreat or a loving kindness or compassion, and people will keep thinking, being a doormat is somehow compassion or loving kindness. It's not. Being a doormat creates suffering. Compassion removes it. Loving kindness is about health and wellness, not harm and ill will and anger. So it's really that deeper. That's why we led with this at the start. If I understand that underneath all this confusion that we get engaged with in our life, there's a bunch of people just like us trying to figure out how to be okay. But their experiences might have been, huge, violent, traumatic backgrounds or difficulties or whatever. We don't know what any human being's ever gone through in their life. But all of us have gone through heavy stuff. And we forget that. And we think, others are like, okay. And they're not. And I just haven't met that person. Just haven't. I've been working in counseling recovery since like 1990. Let's say. It's a little while. Not a math guy, but I'm 90. Yeah, 30 years, something like that. And I've never met the person that didn't have trauma and difficulty. It's interesting because they always say, now trauma is a big thing. Trauma is driving us. Adverse childhood experiences. I haven't met the person who hadn't had one yet. We all do. We all have the struggle, and others have. And if I remember that about others, it helps me have that compassion, but still the capability of coming from a loving place with boundaries, right? It's like going back to parenting, right? If I let my daughter do whatever she wanted, first off, they act out, they're not safe, there's no structure, they don't feel loved, they don't feel cared for, and my daughter would have died of having OD'd on Peeps and Coca-Cola, pretty sure. Yeah. If I thought when she went away to college, I would just someday get some call from 911. We found her lying next to a bunch of empty Coke cans and some Peep wrappers. She's okay now. She's in the hospital. We're giving her fluids. Oh God! And then she turned out to be this mom who's like healthy and clean. So what happens when they move away? It's weird. But as a loving parent, we have boundaries, right? We have delayed gratification. With relationships, same way. We're loving, we care, we're there for you. And so it's a skill, and it's something that be cultivated over time because we don't always have the right answers, and we do screw up. I mean, my life lesson the other day was trying to be funny, and I said something harmful, and it was a joke, and it wasn't funny. And so I had to apologize, like right away, and then beat myself up for about half a day. Telling myself, don't beat yourself up, not helpful. Yeah, but you're kind of a jerk. Don't beat yourself up, it wasn't helpful. Yeah, but man, that's true. And it was just this thing for about half the day. But it taught me, once again, this, just reinvigorated my speech that I don't want to, say things that are harmful. Right? I want to be mindful. And, And so, yeah, the desire is to be funny and connect with people, but the words, weren't thoughtful. And so since then, I've been really thoughtful. And so it's helping me be more thoughtful, more mindful in my speech. So it's my lesson. So if I get that, then I start learning the things where I mess up are actually my life lessons, and I get to work on it. And I'm a lot better today than I was 37 years ago. For those of you who don't know my background so much, but 37 years ago is where I stepped into changing my life from a life of violence and addiction and chaos and mayhem to recovery and eventually a path of trying to be a better human being. And so that led me into this journey, which eventually got me ordained and all that, counseling and school teaching. So I'm a lot nicer guy than I used to be. Still got a few rough edges. Yeah, Laura will mention that. Little street still there from time to time. Yeah, that joke was a bad one. So. All right, so let me pause there. We got about 5 minutes. Just want to check in with people and see any kind of questions, what about meditation, about this practice, about working with adverse feelings towards others, things of that nature. Yeah.
I guess something that comes up for me often when I'm dealing with adverse situations is I try hard to remember that potentially if somebody's acting with anger or doing something that I don't desire, that they're coming from a place of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can remember that, then it helps me to act in a place of from a place of compassion. Even
Mm-hmm.
like my dog, if he's barking or something, usually it's because he's like afraid of his own reflection.
Yeah.
But I guess I wonder if you have any tools or tricks, or is it just about practice, like continuing to cultivate the practice to help remember that, or to bring us back to that place faster of compassion?
Yeah, thank you. And hopefully you heard that online. Anybody nod your head? Did you hear that? Just okay. Gotcha. I think some of you said yes. Okay. So it is really a practice. And I think of life as a skill, right? So if I want to be good at anything, I need to practice it, playing a trumpet, playing a guitar, learning to speak Spanish. If I practice it, then I'll get better at it. And so a practice like this becomes that. And then the thing about being skillful in adverse situations, my biggest lesson is I don't have to have an answer. I don't even have to be, like, the most skillful thing I can be is not say something. Like allowing someone to do that thing for a minute and go on a rant. And maybe I'm not capable of saying something, like it would come out bad. And that's okay. It'll come and it'll go, and then maybe I might have a thing or not. And so I found in my own self patience and just the ability to be there as someone does that. You can de-escalate things, let them know. And and having a chance to validate their feelings. Their feelings are valid. They may not be based in reality. Those are two different things. Most of our feelings are not based in reality. We keep thinking if so-and-so would buck up, I'd be happy. Mm-hmm. But they're valid. They're coming from a cause and a condition. And so knowing that people are true, just practicing that, that love with the dog, that love with the person. And then I don't have to say anything. I just don't. I mean, most of my skillful speech is non-speech. Yeah, I get a lot of trouble sometimes opening up my mouth. Yeah, so just practice. And not feeling like you have to have an answer. Anybody out there in the universe? Online?
John, we have a question in the chat.
Okay.
What is a main cause of resistance to a meditation practice?
Oh, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. So, does anyone ever resist meditation? Yeah, so I think we can have lots of answers there. So the big one is habit. Okay, the big one is habit. That our habitual way of being, having some quick respite, some quick release to feel good. Like I know I could feel good if I did this or did that, and sitting still and being somewhat uncomfortable physically and sitting with my mind is a very uncomfortable, unusual thing, right? And so, so there's a lot of resistance for a lot of reasons because our mind wants to be okay, and so I'd rather focus on how do I combat the resistance, because the mind is more naturally busy, active, and will tell me, I've got better things to do than be well, and so the way that I combat it is taking a little time to remember this is how I get well, to remember why I meditate. This morning, actually, I got up early. I'm finally home from Texas. I got up early. I wanted to do my full practice and record and stuff. And I noticed my body going like, yeah, you don't want to sit in that. You can kick back in this chair, dude. And, and there was the resistance. And I was like, but that's how I get well. And I remember that that this is how I get well. And one of the key things is to not try to do it too long, right? I mean, we had a pretty decent time that last session, right? So it can get pretty uncomfortable. But if you were to start with, like I started with 10 minutes back when I was, 90, 91, and it was doable. And then the key is to take a little time after you meditated. And this is the key. How do you feel having meditated? There's a Theravada monk, this guy in Australia. He's like a funny monk. It's pretty funny. But he says, I take a little time at the end of my meditation and I just check in and how do I feel that I'm meditating? And he says, I've never regretted. I've always, maybe I don't feel all blissful, but I'm glad I did it. And I understand it's helping me. And so I think there's a key thing there is to, after you meditate, just don't get it, because that's what happens, right? The bell goes and then the mind's like, okay, enough of this nonsense. All right, where's the coffee, tea? And did he say donuts earlier? You're right. And the mind's all about it. And so taking a few moments at the end and just remembering, I meditated. What's that feel like? How do I feel about it? And then we're creating a really good relationship with meditation. And then what you may notice is that you have not wanted to meditate many times and you did it anyway. And you go, wow, and I regret it. And what we start over time, and what's happened in my life is I know that how I feel is not how I am. How I feel is not how I am. That's just what I'm attending to at the moment. For example, I can sit there and think, I'm pretty tired right now. I really want to meditate. But something interesting popped up. I'm not so tired. Oh, we can go do that. Now I'm not tired. I was tired a minute ago because that's what I'm attending to. Now I'm not so tired. I was hungry. I was smelling popcorn. And then, 3 minutes, I'm not hungry. My feelings will come and go. And I can, if I start to recognize that, I can have the consciousness to know, I'll just go through the action, the mind will come. And so that's why it's so important when we meditate to remember that this is one of the healthiest things we can do in our world, that I no longer need to be a prisoner of every thought, worry, or impulse that comes to my mind. That as I do this each day, I am giving myself an opportunity to be a participant in my own life with freedom and choice. And take that before you meditate. And then after you meditate, take a moment, check how you feel about having meditated. That's my short answer. But habit's the real reason we resist, just mental energy and habit. So we want to water, nurture, and grow the good experience. And then we get a feeling, wow, this is great. And so the other point is once you've done it for a while, it's just so much better than not doing it. Like it just like there's a breakthrough at some point. And there's a breakthrough. And then you're like, oh, this is like not brushing my teeth. That's pretty funky, right? Later in the day. And so you just start noticing the difference, and you just think, no, I need to, even if it's 5 minutes. That's the other key. Even let's say you don't have 20 minutes. Let's say you don't take 5 minutes. Sit for 5 minutes. Later in the day, so if I didn't do it in the morning, I'm sitting around, take 5 minutes. In other words, don't have it just be this thing. It's the thing that you can do anytime. And just take a few minutes. Be aware of you walking. Feet on the ground. Be present. So those are some things I think will help be less resistant. Anything else in the chat? I know we're coming up to the time, and I want to honor everybody's time. A lot of thank yous in here. That's nice. Okay. All right. Yeah. Looking forward to the New Year's silent retreat. Yeah, that one's full. Okay, good. All right. Well, let's take a moment. Just announce. So we will have a Juanita retreat. So up at Juanita Hot Springs Ranch, up outside of Gunnison, that still has room. That's at the end of March. And that'll be on the 8 verses of thought transformation. The New Year's retreat's full. So that's out in California. But we're going to do more here. So I'm going to try to every month have at least a half day or a whole day thing here. And I'm also, we have the aspiration to put together just some little short video type like courses. You want to know a little something about Buddhism with this, like you could just, because a lot of people have a lot of questions about Buddhism, like what is this and what's that aspect. So we're going to put that. So if you haven't joined the community, we have a free community online with resources and teachings. I actually record a morning practice every day, except Sundays. And so we can do a practice together if you want. And I try to record it, post it before 5 a.m. And so, yeah, I know a lot of you do that. Okay. All right, well, let's take a moment just to dedicate our time together. And such an incredible opportunity that we have taken to choose a Sunday to cultivate loving kindness for ourselves and others. This is how we're going to heal the world. We cannot heal the world through anger, resentment, and jealousy. There's so much division. There's also so much love, so much healing. Let's see if we can practice noticing it more and bringing it more. And so let us dedicate our time together, this time that we've spent cultivating loving kindness for ourselves and others. Let us dedicate this for all beings. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May they experience and know that they're loved, that they are cared for, they're accepted, that they are lovable. And we do our best to cultivate it in our own lives so we can bring it to them. All right, well, thank you all so much. I'm going to try to remove my pin. You guys can maybe see each other online. Thank you all. Joy to have all of you online. I think we had 25 and a handful here. So nobody got injured, right? Okay, I'm going to call that a success. And yeah, so good to see some of the faces here. I didn't get to see you all. And lots of love to you online there. And appreciate all the good that you bring to the world. So let's try to stay out of trouble, have some fun in there so we can bring it out there. All right.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. And
Thank you, John.
And thanks, Rachel, for
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rachel.
Rachel. Thanks, John.
Thank you,
Have a
Rachel.
wonderful
Thanks,
day.
everyone.
Thank you so
John.
very much.
all right.
Thanks.
Blessings to everyone.
Bye-bye.
Blessings to you, Marcus.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. It's been
Yes.
Oh.